No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name is Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at
Not to be a backseat driver, but can you say for sure you got the best monthly payment possible on your auto loan? Could it be that you might have gotten a better deal by shopping the loan at a few places and have a lower car payment? Next time, before you go car shopping, visit Communication Federal Credit Union first. Our auto loan experts will find you a perfect loan and get you the lowest monthly payment we can. Communication Federal, your auto loan experts. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of GoodPods. If you haven't heard of it yet, GoodPods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On GoodPods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find GoodPods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
And good Friday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bit past 3 in the east. It is a bit past noon in the west, and I am joined by some of my usual panelists. So far, we have from SHR Media and cameraless as usual because for some reason Restream hates his camera. The one, the only BZ from BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon.
Hi, kids. I would be bobbing my head right now if I had a head.
I mean, you have a head just because we can't see it. I mean, you know. So anyway. I was bobbing my head though, so I guess it doesn't matter. All right, so and also of course we have Amy. I have not heard from Brad today, so I'm thinking maybe he wants the day off. So we'll just kick it in, and if he joins at some time, great. If not, no big deal. But we're here, we're live, and of course we have next from Town Hall and formerly with me at Twitchy, which I'm still a little sad about, but she's still here. We have Amy Curtis, who is writing up a storm over at Town Hall, and
I am writing up a storm over at Town Hall, and it's fun. Every day is fun. The last week, especially, has been very, very busy and very, very fun. It's not like there's nothing going on in the world right now that we can write about. So,
but you know, and I've really tried not to be very gloaty about all this. But one of the things that I absolutely love is watching over the last week everything the intelligence community has ever told us being proven wrong.
Yeah. The levels of Schadenfreude are high, very high.
Paul Krugman in 45, within 45 seconds of coming in, Paul Krugman said, Trump is going to crush everything. The markets will tank. The world will implode. No.
But wasn't he also the guy that said the internet wouldn't catch on? Or am I confusing him with somebody else?
No, that was my dad.
Because there was somebody, and I thought it was Craig when he said, hey, the internet, online shopping, never going to catch on. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I literally just had groceries delivered to my house, but Awesome.
Dude,
Whatever you say,
I
expert.
I absolutely love that, and it's funny because I used to make fun of people for that and call them 1%, and
Mhm.
now I have stuff delivered all the time, and I'm like, "Haha, technology."
It's just when you've got so much else going on and it's just easier. It's easier. Also, I actually spend less because this is my list. This is what I'm getting. There's no impulse buys. There's no in-store specials. It's just this is what I need. I'm gonna get it and be done.
Hmm.
So it's a win-win all around, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it
So
definitely saves me a lot of time. I usually have to find excuses to make up steps that I used to get in the grocery store now that I have stuff delivered, though, but
there is that, but I'm also a in and out kind of grocery shopper, so I don't do steps. Because there are people in stores, so I'm not a not a some days I'm not a people person, just, like, leave me alone, leave my groceries on the porch, we're all good.
I
So,
wish there were
entirely
things to talk about
entirely
today.
too peoply.
we're too peoply. Oh, yeah, I know, like, we're at a complete loss of things to
The
talk
hell
about.
are we
It's not
going to
like
say?
I mean, how
we bombed the shit out of Iran this week or anything like
I
that,
mean, yeah, how are
but
we supposed to, have a serious news show when there's no news to
When there's
talk
no news.
there's no new
What the
none.
hell?
None whatsoever. Right. It's raining. Well, it was raining here. We're like I said, backstage, gonna get like the first really big storms of the season tonight, which if I didn't live in a mobile home, I'd be really excited about because I love a good thunderstorm.
Oh, no. Not a mobile home versus tornado.
Right. Well, we always the weather gets bad, we always bug out and go to mom's
The
house. I keep an eye on things because I take it seriously. But
the
yeah,
classic
yeah.
the classic quintessential clash. Who wins?
Right. Yeah. The tornado every time. This is basically a glorified soda can when it comes to a tornado. So, but like I said, we go to my mom's house, and then she's got a basement, she's got a bathtub. I'm not worried about it. We'll be fine. But like I do like me a good storm, and I will be honest with you, seeing a tornado is on my bucket list. I just don't want to see it destroying my house if I can avoid it. So,
I used to live in Ohio a long time ago in a
Mhm.
galaxy far, far away, and I had a bedroom right next to the railroad tracks in this set of condos that we were living in. My family is a military family, and we were in
Mhm.
Ohio. And as I stood in my window looking across the railroad tracks, of course, it's
Mhm.
summer, it's really green. About, no, I'd say more like 100 feet away, a bolt of lightning struck a tree. It cracked the glass of my window. It was the
Ooh.
loudest thing I'd ever heard. And damn, we had a great, great rainstorm. Oh my God.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, many years ago, a lightning bolt hit the radio tower at the police station, which was like 2 blocks from my house, and I can only just describe that sound as cataclysmic. It woke up the whole house. It was, like you said, the loudest thing I have
Oh, yeah.
ever heard in my life.
It was
It gets your
it
attention.
was the hand of God. And from an EOD guy who loves to watch shit blow up, I mean, that was even kind of, well, I was a kid back then. Well, no, I
Right,
was in my
right.
late teens, but kind of kiddish.
Mhm.
Where shall we start? My God.
Well, actually,
Well, I
I have
think
some breaking news.
Oh, okay.
CNN literally just cut to commercial like 10 minutes ago, because of this.
Bad news?
What happened with President Obama, I'll just say this very quickly, and I was in the State Department in the 2000s when we implored the Bush administration not to restrict the engagement with Iran simply to the nuclear file. What happened with President Obama is that, for better or worse, and I'm not going to litigate that here, he decided that given the four big problems that have always been on American objectives with Iran, that is enrichment, ballistic missiles, proxies, and democracy inside Iran, that he would put all the last three aside and focus only on the nuclear deal. Now, I'm not going to say that was good or bad. I don't think it was a great idea, but what we have seen, and this is also maybe controversial, and I think a lot of my liberal friends are going to hate me for this.
Don't point to me.
But okay, I know.
Point to me.
I didn't mean to. Okay. Is that unfortunately, you can draw a straight line from the 2015 nuclear deal to October 7th. Iran.
I'd love to hear that from some administration officials. That leveling with the American people, what you're saying, these thoughtful comments.
Well, I think that what the Trump administration
we do have to go to a break here.
Okay.
There's more on the other side. So hold your thought, because I have some follow-up questions for you about what the end game is here and now.
Oh shit, Jimmy said the quiet part out loud. Go to commercial.
Right. But if you watch any show where she's on, she does that all the time. When the liberal is making a point, she doesn't interrupt. She doesn't cut him off. The second, especially Scott Jennings, starts to make sense, she's right there, cutting him off, interrupting, doing whatever it takes to not let them get that message out. And this is a great example. And he's absolutely right. You can absolutely draw a line to so many things from the Obama administration to the disaster we have today, and October 7th is one of them.
Well, it's not just Obama. It's Obama 2.0 geriatric boogaloo. I mean, between Obama and Biden, they handed around like $7.5 billion.
Yep. And that money went to Hamas. It went to Hezbollah. It went to other terror proxies in the world. It went to building up their ballistic missile stockpile, which they were going to use as a shield for their nuclear program. I know we took out the nuclear sites in June because I happened to be traveling internationally when we did that. And we were a little bit concerned about our safety, especially being as close to the Middle East as we were. But now my train of thought just completely derailed. Holy crap. This is where I was going with that.
I have a show called Off the Rails.
But when Iran went back into, that's me. But when we went into negotiations with Iran this time, they came to the table, according to this administration, saying, we have almost 500 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium that we are going to use, and we are going to turn it into nuclear warheads. And that was their opening salvo in the negotiations. Like, we're doing this. And where did they get that uranium from? That's a question I'd like answered, because my gut instinct first said somebody, Russia, China, was giving them that uranium, because they weren't digging through Fordo to pick it up. Somebody handed them that and said, let's restart the nuclear program. And they didn't need those sites to make, a couple nuclear warheads. They just needed the missiles and the enriched uranium, and they could have had bombs. And I'm sorry, I am 100% in favor of bombing Iran back to the Stone Age, getting rid of the leadership, getting rid of their nuclear program, getting rid of the Revolutionary Guard, and turning it back over to the people who have been oppressed longer than I've been alive.
Well, the funny thing is, I cheated. I watched Rick's show this morning, and the thing that I think is imperative to add to that clip is the dude that was speaking is an Iranian who was there in the government building, listening to the Iranians, their supreme leader, make statements under the government. Somebody talked to him and said, by the way, everything said in here is official, because this is an official building. And then this guy comes to CNN, and the first thing they want to do is distrust him or not believe him, just because he's an Iranian who was there in the damn building in the government. And if anybody doesn't have the chops to make the statements that he does, who does?
Right. But that's what when somebody doesn't fit their narrative, even because they talk all the time about, we need to respect people's lived experiences. But the second that actual lived experience doesn't support the narrative, they ignore them. I saw that all the time when I worked at a college. All the lefties, the Cubans, the Russians, anybody who came from a communist country and said communism and socialism are bad, the lefties dismissed them. Oh, they don't know what they're talking about. We don't need to listen to them. They're just propagandists. And back then it was the Bush era. So they just like George W. Bush. And that's why they're saying this stuff. It's the absolute, I don't even want to call it hypocrisy, because it's not that. Just the opportunism that they engage in to push their narratives is breathtaking. And the way they deny atrocities. I mean, how many, for almost 3 years, Israel is doing a genocide in Gaza. Genocide. They kill people. Genocide. Iran slaughtered tens of thousands of people, and I don't hear one of them one of them saying it's a
No,
genocide.
they did it in 2 damn days in January only.
Mhm.
And estimates range from what, 30,000 to
30 to
40,000. I
Yep.
heard some Iranian dude say, well, it's actually closer to 50,000 crickets in the field.
Right. Not a
Nothing.
word, and not a word. And where is your conscience? Like, how do you look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm the good person because I am fine with 50,000 Iranian people dying as long as Donald Trump doesn't get a win?
Well, so and I talked about this a little bit on my daily show too. What astounds me is watching folks like Bill Kristol, or as I not so affectionately call him, Captain Stooping. But is watching him in January screaming and yelling on social media that Donald Trump should be doing something about the 35,000 plus Iranians that have been slaughtered, and he hasn't done anything about it. And then fast forward to March when we're doing something about it. I can't believe Donald Trump is doing this illegal war in Iran. Dude, it's been less than 60 days. Pick a lane.
I want all these things taken care of, except I don't want you to use violence. Why can't you sit at an even table with everyone and pass out, steaming cups of chai, and we can come to an agreement with that, can't we?
Right. The negotiations have worked so well in the past. Let's just everybody sing Kumbaya and it'll all be good.
Literally, can anybody name one contract or compact that was signed between Iran and, I don't know, anybody else that held? I cannot.
I can't either.
I can't think of one. And I actually tried.
No. I mean, and everybody said, oh, well, Trump ripped up the nuclear deal, and this wouldn't have happened if Trump hadn't ripped. The nuclear deal facilitated where we are now. All it did was give Iran cover to hide the nuclear program from inspectors until the end game with that was, oh, no, Iran's got a nuke. We got to give them whatever they want now because otherwise they're going to, blow up Israel. They would have blown up Israel anyway, or they're going to start, dropping bombs on Europe too. That was the end game of Obama's nuclear deal. Trump was absolutely right to rip it up and absolutely right to launch these attacks on them.
Well, the funny thing is, it all revolves around the same thing in World War II and Europe and leftists, which is U.S., you can go ahead and take it on the chin. You can go ahead and solve the world's problems. When you do, we'll make sure that we can condemn you for it. And then we'll want money for reparations. Let's start with the Marshall Plan. And by the way, we're infinitely safer post World War II, and we'll be safer post the death of Iran. But we're still going to take you to task for it. And it's like, oh, humanitarian issues. You've killed people. It's terrible. It's like you sunk a sub. Oh, you didn't go pick up the survivors. How evil of you. Yeah, because I'm sure you could shove all those survivors in a Los Angeles class at tax sub, no.
Right. No, you there's no room. There's no obligation for a sub in a war to give away its location like that and to rescue the survivors. Well, they were just doing exercises by Sri Lanka. Okay, but what part of Iranian warship isn't clear to you? I mean, or do we just get to run away when there's a war and say, I'm in international waters, you can't touch me?
Well, worse yet, I heard it was an Iranian fishing boat.
Right. All those Iranian fishing boats, right? Just like the fishing boats in the Caribbean that we keep bombing that just happen to be carrying boatloads of cocaine on them too. Sure, fishing boats.
Fishing boats. Yes, absolutely, just fishing boats. What I find interesting, and I don't think enough people are giving them credit for it, is not only while we're doing this complete shellacking in Iran, are we doing this complete shellacking in Iran, but we're also still taking it to the terrorists in the Americas.
Yeah, we decided we were going to go and bomb the shit out of Ecuador too. All right, cool. I'm all right with that. Like, the drug cartels have been terrorizing that country for a while now too. Let's send a message. And You can't deal drugs when you're dead. You can't make a nuke when you're dead. I am completely fine with sending these other terrorist assholes to the great beyond, because then they can't hurt innocent people anymore. They can't beat women who show their hair in public. They can't hang gays and throw them off of buildings. Like, nothing of value is lost by killing these people. I'm sorry, it's not. Well, they're human beings. Yeah, they were. And they made shitty choices that made the world a worse off. Like, they've made a world a bad place. We don't need that. We don't have to tolerate this. Oh, because they're human. Say the people who call me a Nazi and want me to get beaten up and killed because they don't like my politics. Okay, sure.
Yeah. But what happened to their human beings? I'm confused.
Right. Everybody knows that Nazis aren't human beings unless you're a Democrat with a fucking Nazi symbol tattooed on your chest. Then, oh, well, you can run for Senate and we're going to look the other way. Okay, sure. That guy is something else.
I have the same question for Democrats that I've had consistently, which is, and leftists, globalists, et al., blah, blah. So, they're crowing about this on CNBC. Oil surges 35% this week for biggest gain in futures trading history dating back to 1988. Oh, we'll be looking at $4 a gallon gas in no time. Okay, well, then the question is, what would you have rather been done? And the answer, I would guess, is predominantly nothing, which I think dovetails into this today, which just came out. 53 Democrats vote against declaring Iran a state sponsor of terror. How do you reconcile any of this? How is it possible?
It all goes back to their one driving principle, which is orange man bad. That's all it goes back to.
The usual suspects came out, AOC, Omar, Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, her bald-headedness, and 53 Democrats opposing the non-binding House measure. They can't, if you can't even say the word, if you can't even quantify who's positive, who's negative, who hates America, who doesn't, how do you build any kind of consensus going further from that when you can't even get a certain number of people to agree? Well, yeah, Iran is a sponsor of terror.
Right. They won't do it because they can't, like I said, they can't give Trump a win. They can't give Republicans a win. I have said this repeatedly, and I know it's beating a dead horse. Trump could cure cancer, and these 53 Democrats would come out and say that's a bad thing. And here's why it's a bad thing. I just put a link in the private chat. The Rapid Response account did a incredible thread today of all the things Iran has done and all the Americans they have killed, going back to 1979 and these 66 American hostages. The body count is there. The proof of state that they are a state sponsor of terrorism is there. The entire world believed Iran was a state sponsor of terrorism until the precise moment Donald Trump said, you know what? We're going to get rid of this state sponsor of terrorism. Then all of a sudden, Iran, we love Iran. Okay. All right. You unprincipled assholes.
It's like, how can you say anything nice about these people? If we can't deal in reality, then how can there be any conversations at all? If we can't even agree on the meaning of words, on the meaning of, it's just.
Well, they do that on purpose. There's that, and I pull it up. I have it it's saved on my phone. This Twitter account put out, most of leftist discourse is them just not pretending what the debate is about so that you can't have a debate with them. And it's an extension of that. We refuse to agree on common terms, so we can't have a debate. And it's just this constant loggerheads because they want their agenda. And the only Democrat who is worth a damn and who actually has integrity and principles is, once again, my buddy John Fetterman, who has said this is a good thing. We need to destroy Iran. He has been consistent on this. It was actually very funny. He got asked about the submarine torpedoing the warship. and it was by some reporter with Mehdi Hassan's outlet. And he's, I'm sorry, your boss lost his friend, the Ayatollah. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you for being like not only funny, but right and moral. And I love that he called him out on that, because that's that's the guy he's not worth, I wouldn't spit if his eyebrows were on fire. But honestly, like Fetterman is the only one that makes sense. The rest of them are terrible.
I just looked at the link that you put up in the private chat, and I can't do it right now because I can't multitask because I'm a moron. But on my X, I'll be putting this out. Amy just included a link, which includes a thread, which is incredible, which says, for nearly half a century, the Iranian regime has been slaughtering Americans. And then right after that, it's like, boom. Illustration, example. Oh, Lord, this is great.
Yeah, like I said, the Rapid Response account did a fantastic job going back to 1979 of all the carnage Iran has caused and all the American lives that have been lost because of Iran. And then the Democrats go, nah, how dare you? How dare you stop this? How dare you stop this slaughter? We weren't at war with them. Yeah, well, guess what? They were at war with us, and they have been for 47 years.
And they told us that forever.
Yeah, Death to America. Yeah, Death to America wasn't exactly subtle.
Right?
But why is it that people on the left and way altogether too many Americans don't believe people when they say it? When they say death to America, they don't really mean it. When the Democrats say, well, we're going to crush you and turn your nation back upside down, they're not. They're kidding. They don't really. People don't take what people say at face value, and they're saying what they really mean. That's just, it's rather astounding in its amazingness. Here's another story I just saw, Iraqi news. Iranian Kurdish militia buys 50 Land Cruisers in Erbil amid rising tensions. That came out today. A car dealer in Erbil, northern Iraq, reported an Iranian Kurdish group recently acquired a big number of automobiles, raising concerns about probable preparation for border activities between Iran and Iraq itself. But if you're going to buy a car, hey, why not buy a Land Cruiser?
Right, seriously.
There's so many places to go. Where are we going to go?
A couple interesting things happening at home that some folks may not have heard about yet. One is in both the House and the Senate, they have resoundingly said fuck you to the Democrats who are trying to stop the Iranian conflict.
Yes,
and
lovely.
voted that down rather handily, including the only sane Democrat lately, which is still something I thought I would never say about Fetterman. Here we are. And then, of course, yesterday, the House tried to do its job and reopen, DHS, since, we are in armed conflict. And the Senate still said no. So
Right. And it's not like we had a terrorist in Austin wearing a property of Allah hooded sweatshirt with the Iranian flag t-shirt underneath, kill a bunch of people at a bar. Oh, and Austin police, by the way, say they still haven't figured out a motive for that one.
Well, of course not.
That's just, you listen to stuff like that and you think, how are we still a semi-functioning nation when we have just morons like this inside, and what's his name? Jose Garza, the AG in Travis County, was going to put those officers up in front of a grand jury.
Yeah, and I believe that is standard operating procedure now in Travis County, which
is because
terrifying.
of Garza, because he was paid millions by George Soros.
Another Soros prosecutor.
And the Texas Supreme Court finally came in and said, no, you're not going to be doing that. Not to these people, not this time.
Good. Thank God, because I would want to think that a grand jury would look at this and go, they stopped a terrorist attack. We're not doing shit with this. But a prosecutor can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich.
Oh, sure.
So we're like, the more I think about that, the more the optics of it just take my breath away, because not even the optics, but like the implications of that. You stop a terror attack, as a cop, we're going to put you before a grand jury where you may end up spending a long time, if not the rest of your life, in jail. That's purposely designed to make that cop go, you know what? Not going to stop this terror attack because my life, like, I'm not going to give up my life and my freedom to save people. Like,
Sure.
That's what it is. Another way the Democrats give our safety and security over to the people that would do us harm, whether it's a domestic criminal, a foreign terrorist, an illegal immigrant. This is who the Democrats are. And
defense attorneys have a great term for that. It's called a chilling effect. Whatever it is that we want to do, we want to ensure that we produce a chilling effect for whatever kinds of activity is that we want to embrace or defend against. So it's a chilling effect. No two ways about it.
Absolutely. That's what they tried to do with Daniel Penny in Manhattan. He didn't kill, and I'm blanking on the name of the guy that Jordan Neely. He restrained him from hurting other people on the train, and they tried to put him in prison for a long time. Now, thankfully, I think the public attention made that case blow up. But how many people don't get that public attention who end up the chilling effect of, I'm not going to defend people because I don't want to end up in prison for doing the right thing.
If I can interject, because this just came into my brain housing group, and at my age, if I don't talk about it right now, it's going to go goodbye. Rick, you were talking this morning about how the Dow fell, I don't know, like 400 points after, Trump talks about the oil. And then you also mentioned that, and people are saying now, oh, there's a huge job loss in February. And I think you brought that into perspective. And I think that deserves mentioning right now with this huge job loss.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. The jobs report. I mean, if you just look at the headline, it's scary. We supposedly lost 92,000 jobs in February.
Yeah, intentionally.
But here's the thing nobody's talking about. One, we were starting the tail end of a government shutdown yet again. Nobody wants to talk about that part. Winter weather had put construction at a near standstill for a good part of the country for a good part of February. Because, I know we were snowed in for almost a week here. And then you have the usual thing of we're finding everybody's cheap labor and making them go home. And then everybody, why are we losing so many jobs? The actual American-born jobs numbers, those keep going up.
As do the wages. I think real wages are up like 3.8% or something like that. So,
yeah. I mean, they're up pretty substantially. They're actually... For the first time in a long time, wage growth is actually starting to outpace inflation, which was something we thought we would never see again. So, who knows? But, Trump's policies are all bad and terrible.
Right, sure. Oh, I'm going to put this in the private chat too, because this just popped into my feed. They pulled Grandpa Joe out of mothballs to speak at Jesse Jackson's celebration of life, and it looks like Biden's being Biden.
Yeah, I saw Obama was there, and of course he busted out the Isaiah line that Charlie Kirk used to use all the time. I didn't see Grandpa Joe, but I've got it now, so we'll watch it together and point and laugh. Why not? It'll be fun.
Sure.
You guys want to hear a happy story? Like Amy said earlier, absolutely a drip. I mean, festooned with schadenfreude. Ripped from today's New York Post screaming headlines, however, pointed directly at San Francisco. This is the headline that I just absolutely love. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie's security detail attacked in the Tenderloin. Cop left bleeding after scuffle. But hey, we love our peeps there.
Right. Yeah, I wrote about that. I saw the video. As this, I don't know if it was a homeless person. I'm going to assume it was a homeless person, is scuffling with Lurie's security guard. Lurie walks away. And I'm not talking like, oh my God, I'm afraid for my life, I'm getting out of here kind of thing, which I almost could have understood. He just kind of casually strolls off. Like, it's no big deal. Like, you're on your own, buddy. Have fun, bye. When your staff as the mayor isn't safe, your city has a problem.
Who do you think else is safe? You have your own security. So the dude that was arrested, his past includes fighting and stabbing a dude in Polk Gulch neighborhood. Well, if you don't know San Francisco, because I live there, Polk Street is like gay central in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just,
Right.
Again, this is nutty world. This is crazy world. This is an alternate universe.
Right.
It's not the Earth I recognize at all, but still, when stuff like this happens, it's like, I'll tell you this story real quick because, the statute of limitations have expired. I was sitting with a district attorney when I was in patrol in the 80s. And he said he wasn't going to file on a particular case I had. And I said, it's because it's not personal to you. I said, if we had more attorneys, if we had more judges, officials, bureaucrats, people who make decisions, city mayors, city council members, county board of supervisors, people cut, shot, stabbed, raped, murdered, had mayhem committed on them, ears cut off, their family members made hostage, etc., then maybe we'd be able to get through this stuff. One days on the beach letter later in my file, and 3 days off. I meant it then, and I mean it today. All of this is personal, and the intent for the elites to separate themselves, like Lurie, or at least attempting to, is why you still see the bulk of this crap going on, because they're not suffering the consequences of their actions.
Exactly. And you're going to love this follow-up to that story because this was posted afterwards. Guess who is now flooding the Tenderloin district where the attack on Lurie's staff took place? The San Francisco PD.
Oh, no.
So all it took for them to clean up these streets was the mayor's ox getting gored. And look, I completely have sympathy for the security guard, the cop who was hurt. He was just doing his job. And if the prosecutors and the mayor and the Democrats in charge did their job, I'm going to guess that the guy who attacked him probably has a criminal record, probably has mental health issues. If he would have been behind bars, this wouldn't have happened.
Oh, definitely. But we can't do that. We can't protect people. Now they get protected.
Right. The people who commit these crimes is such a small minority of people who are repeat offenders. If we put them behind bars, we could live in relative peace because most people don't get arrested at all. And the people who get arrested once or twice, it's for minor, low-level things, and okay, fine. Like, people are going to make mistakes. They're going to do stupid stuff. I'm fine with that. I wrote a story for Town Hall yesterday, as a matter of fact. New York City, a career criminal set a homeless man on fire. Take a guess how many times this career criminal named Damon Johnson has been arrested in the past. I guarantee you, unless you saw my story, you'll never in a million years guess how many times this guy has been arrested.
I'm going to say 70.
Higher.
100.
Higher.
200.
No, lower. I've seen 131 to 141. So somewhere in the 131 to 141 ranges, this guy has been arrested. And we're not talking like he stole a pack of gum from the store. Violent crimes. And he's been charged with assault in the past. He's been charged with robbery in the past. Why was this guy not in prison other than the fact that I'm just going to say it, got the right skin color, and the prosecutors in New York don't give a shit about prosecuting them? It's absolutely insane. And now he set a homeless man on fire. The homeless man wasn't killed, but I'll tell you right now, his life has been forever altered because he was set on fire. And when do we as a culture go, you know what? And as a society say, this is enough. And we're going to start putting these people in prison, or we're going to start doing things like putting them in prison now is, in my opinion, becoming the moderate option, because people are going to get fed up with this and they're going to act, because we shouldn't have to live like this.
Amy Curtis, what the hell is wrong with you? Don't you realize that these people are the personification of Jean Valjean? All he was trying to do is steal a loaf of bread so he could feed his family. Even in the 70s, we had what we called the 80-20 rule. True then, true now. Probably more biased is that 80% of the crime is committed by 20% of the recidivists. It's probably, the quotient is probably bigger now because we weren't quite that stupid back in the 70s.
Right. No, we put people behind bars, and I'm sorry, that's where they belong. And we'll watch the Joe Biden thing, but then we'll get back to it because I had another story out of Virginia with an illegal immigrant who stabbed a 41-year-old mother to death in Fairfax County. Not only is Spanberger's administration running interference for this guy, he's again got a lengthy criminal record with Fairfax County. The prosecutor's office kept letting him go. And now a woman is dead. And we'll get into that more details. But let's see what Grandpa Joe had to say first so we can clear the stage.
I tried to segue back to this a second ago when BZ said he felt like he was disconnected from reality. I was like, let me give you something you're familiar with. Here's some Grandpa Joe.
This is bad times like now. We're in a tough spot, folks. We got an administration that doesn't share any of the values that we have. I don't think I'm exaggerating a little bit. So,
okay, no, 77 million people voted for Donald Trump. That means 77 million people in this country, at a minimum, have those values, Grandpa Joe. So this notion that your values trump, no pun intended, everybody else's is ridiculous. You spent more time on the beach when you were president than you are right now. Go back to whatever beach you were sitting on and just enjoy the rest of your days, because you got cancer of the everything. Time has to be limited. So it's like, leave us alone. Don't come out there to say, oh, they don't share our values. 77 million Americans do. And this, I'm so sick of the left. Well, the right they don't share our values, and they're like, okay, this is a 50-50 kind of ballparking it country. At least half of the country shares values that you don't agree with. So stop this notion of they don't share our values. Yeah, maybe the people in that room probably don't share values with a lot of them, especially not Joe Biden, but they are a fraction of the entire American population. And I hate to break it to you, Joe, there are people who disagree with you and and their views and their values are just as valid as yours. Actually, more so than yours, because you have some pretty shitty, evil views and values, Mr. Devout Catholic, pro-abortion, pro-gay marriage, liar in chief, but whatever.
So one other point I wanted to bring up, because I'm not sure if either of you have seen it. Have you guys seen the propaganda piece that got put out by Iran at the beginning of the war, talking about how they supposedly sank one of our battleships, and it was a Soyuz rocket sinking the Yamato?
I did not see that, but that is
what?
Yeah,
I gotta see that.
I have not seen this. No. I've seen a lot of propaganda from Iran, but that's not one of it.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find it again. But yeah, it was amazing because you could see it in the video. It was a Soyuz rocket, the Russian space platform, that's supposedly coming right at what they said was a U.S. battleship. But if you zoomed in, it was literally the Yamato from Japan.
For those historically who don't know, the Yamato and the Musashi were the two largest battleships that Japan ever built. We had 16-inch guns. They had 18-inch guns on their battleships. Both were sunk.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that, they had a Soyuz rocket coming after the ship that eventually became the entire basis for Star Blazers.
Perfect.
You can't make this up. I keep waiting because they keep saying they're going to unleash their maximum firepower. Iran, that is. And still waiting. I think I have more firepower in my closet right now with my gun safe than Iran, the entire country of Iran. Honestly, like, well, I could probably take on Iran at this point.
They did start trying to use cluster munitions last night, which are actually violations of international law.
Where's the international law crowd on that one?
Oh, they're the underdog. They get to do that. Come on.
I hear crickets. Yeah, you see, it's as I say, it's different when they do it, but just incredible.
The other thing that just came to my mind is because I cheated and listened to Rick's show was now we have God, what are they called? I read the piece. Odin, optical something interdictor Navy lasers. We have lasers on 2 destroyers now, kids.
That is so like 30th century Star Trek level stuff. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, yeah, I was like, so, and I remember, and I talked about this on my show earlier today too, because I used to play, MMO games like Eve back in the day,
Mhm.
and I remember reading about the railguns they had on their ships, and then a few years ago, I saw the stories that we were actively using railguns, and I'm like, holy crap, we are headed into the 21st century finally.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and then today I found out about lasers not only being used to basically spot and instantly target launching missiles, but
Mhm. Mhm. I know.
yeah. But remember, the left thought that Space Force was stupid and retarded.
Right, right. That's
like I said in chat, Space Force, folks, I'm sure everybody here knows it. What was the original purpose for the creation of the STS Challenger series? It was to have those doors on the top of the Challenger to open. They ran basically the length of the fuselage to open up and snatch opposing satellites out of orbit and pull them into the Challenger and the STS system.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
And few people remember that. And then let's see, I watched something just before I came here, and I don't know why I went to CNN for a while, and they were saying that the war is deteriorating, and then I'm looking at another story here: Iran missile strikes down 90%.
Mhm.
Oh, can we ever cheer for the U.S.? No.
No, of course not. Of course not. They are actively cheering for the US to lose. Hakeem Jeffrey said it's going to fail. He wants it to fail.
Yeah.
It's
projection.
It's absolutely projection, but it's also, I'm not surprised, but it still is breathtaking that you guys really hate Trump and our country that much that you want us to lose. Okay. Okay, that's a mask off moment.
You would think.
I mean, yeah, I think most people have kind of figured out where they stand, but it really is just incredible.
Do we want to talk about Nome, or is that battered to death?
Oh, we can talk about it.
I mean, no, we kind of all saw this was coming, and I think the only hurdle is going to be, will the Senate have the spine to go push ahead and make sure that they confirm Mullen? Because the Democrats are already saying, well, he's unqualified. He doesn't have a bachelor's degree. We're not going to confirm him as head of DHS. Okay, well, the Republicans need to play hardball on this.
Yeah, the question is, of course, will they? There were I think, 3 factors that I think Trump considered, and good or bad, I think it was how Trump perceived Nome's handling of the Good and the Preddy shootings were handled, and I think he was upset at the immediate quantification of one of them. Maybe it was Preddy as a terrorist. And then the other one that I think really, kind of sunk a lot of things is it was, you guys remember the ad, and I thought, this is just kind of weird, of Nome on horseback standing in front of, what was it, Mount Rushmore or something like that, interstate, and talking about, well, I'm keeping things safe right now. And I bet Trump took a little umbrage of that. Plus apparently the $200 million she used for her campaign spending, and she said, and that's been trotted around a lot of the media, is, no, I didn't do that. I didn't say that. And Trump says, well, I didn't approve it, so we had to do that.
Right. Yeah.
And then Corey Lewandowski as her chief of staff, with whom she had an affair. They were both married. She is still married because I think the guy thinks that because of various religious aspects, he doesn't have the wherewithal to make sure that he divorces her. But, and then it's like, God, who was the other? Fannie Willis, and either Fannie Willis or the other chick that was up in New York having an affair. And then she took her her squeeze, her bow, and shoved him into a position of importance. And Noam apparently did the same thing with Corey Lewandowski, like her chief of staff. It's like, God, is there one honorable person left in DC? Really?
No. I mean, there probably really isn't, to be honest. But
No, I think that city just taints everything. Absolutely taints everything.
oh, sure. Now you'll say taint. Oh, I'm just kidding.
That's a throwback to before we were on air when I was trying to keep it classy and should have just gone for it. No, there really isn't at all. But yeah, it's like I don't have any objections to Mullen. I think he's great. Back in December, he took what's his face, the commie from the East Coast, Sanders, to task because the House and the Senate were going to pass this bill about kids with cancer, and that asshole threw a wrench into it because of his politics, and Mullen just laid into him, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I wrote a piece about him not having the bachelor's degree. He took over his dad's plumbing business. He dropped out of college to help out the family. And honestly, we need more people like that. There's 63% of Americans don't have a college degree. And for the Democrats who always talk about, we need representation. So that's why we need a queer character in every show. And we need to make Anne Boleyn black and Helen of Troy black because we need representation. How about we have representation of the non-degree holding Americans in Congress? Because I can tell you that my plumber doesn't think that there are 57 genders and that women can have penises because he has a real job. He lives in the real world. Those sort of thoughts, the woke DEI bullshit, is what comes when you are so privileged and coddled. You have time to come up with this insane bullshit of microaggressions and intersectionality. And like the people who live and work in the real world, they don't have time for that. I think we need more of that in Congress and fewer people with degrees in Congress, to be quite honest with you.
I think Mullen is going to squeak by. I'm curious what you guys think.
I think ultimately, because
it's going to be slim. I think he makes it, but like Jackrabbit slim. That's how slim.
Yeah, I think he'll get through. I think enough senators will rally behind him just because, he's a fellow senator. But as I said earlier today, with my governor being on the way out, and as much as he's starting to show a blue underbelly, I wouldn't be half surprised if he fucking appointed a Democrat on the way out the door.
So he's part skink.
But
yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either. We shall see on that one. Speaking
Great
of
question, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amy.
No, it's fine because I was gonna circle back to the Spanberger thing, but if you want to finish up with this before I go off on Abigail, please do, because my guns are loaded and I'm ready to blast her with both barrels.
Quick programming note: are we wrapping at the top of the hour?
We may actually go a little bit over. Because Amy doesn't have to rush off, and I've got a couple other points I still wanted to make. So go ahead. Yeah, no, because my youngest, who is the pickup kid, is off today. They had parent-teacher conferences last night, and today the teachers are off as a much-needed day. So I don't know if you can hear him, but he's playing video games. I can hear him laughing out there. He's not as loud as my cat, which is kind of sad.
I want to see your cat again.
We'll see. He's because my son is here. He's not clingy. He's probably sitting on my son's shoulders right now, which is fine because I had to go to the doctor last week and they're like, "Are you safe at home?" And then the nurse is like, "What's up with this?" And you can't see him on the camera, but I had like all the claw marks on my thing. I'm like, "Oh yeah, you caught me. I'm in an abusive relationship with my cat." But no, so yeah, I wanted to talk about Abigail Spanberger because this story out of Virginia, like, I don't think I've seen a governor crash and burn this quickly. She's been in office 2 months. So there is a criminal named Abdul Jalloh, who is an illegal alien who has been arrested in Fairfax County dozens of times. And Steve Descano, the Fairfax County prosecutor, has let him go. Descano's office said it's because most of Jalloh's victims were homeless, unhoused, didn't have an address. So they were never able to press charges against them, which is bullshit.
Jesus.
Bullshit. And they let this guy walk. Well, last week he stabbed Stephanie Minter, a 41-year-old mother, when she got off the bus in Fairfax County. Killed her. Not only is Spanberger's administration saying, "Hey, you need to get it to ICE. You need to get a signed judicial warrant before we release this guy to you." It turns out that Descano's office was warned about this guy in November. A Fairfax County police officer emailed Descano's office and basically said, it's a matter of when, not if, this dangerous guy we've arrested dozens of times kills somebody. And that timeline was 3 months. 3 months. And nothing has been done. And I'm not even sure if he's still in custody because they don't want ICE to get this guy. The Spanberger's administration has made that very clear. They are siding with this man who killed a mother. She's my age. I'm 43. That could be me. Like that could be, my kids could be orphans because the Democrats love illegal aliens more than they like protecting women like me. And this should destroy her career. It should. I mean, what was his name? He was a spokesperson for Jill Biden, and even he's a Virginia resident. He said he voted for Spanberger. He said this whole thing is so bad for her. She needs to come out and hand him over and kind of do a complete 180 on this issue. And she's not going to. Let's be real. She's not. But that's the state of things in Virginia right now. And it took her 2 months to completely drive that state into the ground. Speaking of Virginia and that, if you are watching and you know somebody in Virginia, you live in Virginia, early voting started for this absolutely disenfranchising redistricting scheme that the Democrats are trying to pull there, where they will disenfranchise 45% of the state's Republican voters. Make sure you tell them to go and vote no. They need to vote no on this referendum. They need to kill this thing dead in its tracks, because the circuit court has said, yeah, it's illegal, but we're going to allow the redistricting vote to happen anyway. The state Supreme Court basically said the same thing. They are going to try to disenfranchise everybody who votes Republican in the state of Virginia, and it needs to stop. And shame on the Virginia GOP, who is not, from what I've been told from people who actually live there, doing anything to get this message out to voters. Meanwhile, the Democrats are putting up billboards that are, and I'm going to be generous with this, misleading, if not downright probably illegal, basically saying Donald Trump is telling people to vote yes on this referendum. It's a lie. It's a billboard with Trump's picture that says, take over the vote, vote yes on April 21st. And I am appalled, not surprised, but appalled. But this is who the Democrats are. And shame on the Republicans in Indiana and the Republicans in Virginia for not doing more. The Republicans in Indiana could have done the same thing and made Indiana a like 90-10 Republican state, and they wouldn't do it because Trump hurt my feelings. Well, now look at what's happening.
Well, so didn't Spanberger run on the fact that no new taxes, I'm going to keep everything?
Yep. Affordability.
One of the first things that came out is she decided, okay, we're going to tax Uber Eats and delivery people.
I think, dog walking, gym memberships.
Just stupid, ridiculous crap at 4.3%. And then there was a massive list under that of all the other things that she decided to institute. And yet Virginians guaranteed they don't get it yet.
Right. I don't know what they think the affordability agenda means, but taxes make everything expensive because these companies don't eat this tax increase. They're not going to say, well, yeah, we'll pay 3% more. They pass that along to you. That means your gym memberships are more expensive. Your groceries are more expensive. Your Uber Eats is more expensive. Everything will be more expensive. Your rent will be more expensive. She lied. And Boeing, one of their defense contract divisions, picked up stakes. Like, we're going back to St. Louis. We're not staying in Virginia. So they took all that money, all those jobs, and went bye-bye. And Abigail Spanberger, the only upside to this is she's a one and done. Now she could run, like she has to, because of the way the governorship works in Virginia, she could run again in the future, but she can't have consecutive terms. And I really believe with her doing the rebuttal for the State of the Union, Democrats were eyeing her as the moderate option for 2028. Because because she's not going to do it, but that was that same week, like everything in Newsom's world fell apart. That's the week that he decided to come out and say, hey, black voters, I'm just as stupid as you are. I can't read. And like play that dyslexia card really hard. And that was it was a bad week for him. He's not going to be the nominee. Kamala Harris isn't going to be the nominee. What's his name in Kentucky? Bashir is not going to be the nominee. Like they have nobody, and they threw Crockett under the bus in Texas. Somebody called the guy to Tallarico, if the coexist bumper sticker was a person, like he's gonna lose. He's gonna make Beto look successful with his faux Christian white skin is the virus nonsense. Like the Democrats are they're
non-binary.
She was really right. God is non-binary. The Bible says abortion is okay. No, it doesn't. Like I think they really were hoping that Spanberger was going to give them like that escape valve that, oh, she's a moderate, and she's not. She's not. She is a liar. She is a spender. She is just absolutely awful. And
you're being kind. You're being very
I am being very kind. I'm trying to not get us kicked off of YouTube. Because there are a lot more things I want to say about that bitch, but I will refrain because, like I said, I don't want to get us kicked off of YouTube. But that's who she is. And now she's got the blood on her hands. Oh, and my favorite part was her lieutenant governor, whose name I honestly can't even pronounce. Nick Minock, who has done some amazing journalism in Virginia. He covered Richard Cox, the trans air quotes sex offender who was creeping on women and girls in public pools in the count in Fairfax and Arlington counties. He's done fantastic work. He found the lieutenant governor and wanted to ask her about Jalot, and she not only did her handler put hands on Minock and stop him from talking to her, she walked away with a smirk on her face. A woman is dead. A woman is dead, and you can't even say it's a like pretend to be a frickin' human being and say, yeah, it's sad that she died. Like, I will rake you over the coals for that weak ass response, but at least you say something instead of walking away and smirking, because that speaks volumes. You think it's funny that a woman is dead and that she was killed by an illegal, like that's where the Democratic Party wants to go in the midterms. Completely fine with that. You run with that, because let me know how that works out.
You said the word Minock, and the first thing that came to mind was Minock's chewing on the power cables of the Millennium Falcon.
That exactly.
Nice.
Always a Star Wars reference.
So seriously, though, part of what is kind of astounding to me is in between during the State of the Union, the left missing the opportunity to at least stand up when Donald Trump says, if you think American citizens should go first, and then point and laugh later. Then everything that's happening with Mamdani, everything that's happening with Spanberger, it's almost like it feels like this is the first time I've actually watched the Democratic Party make repeated missteps, and it's almost they don't even recognize that they're doing it, because they're driving people away from them in the midterms.
Mm-hmm. Right. What are they not talking about right now? The economy.
Well, yeah, they're too busy
jobs. I don't hear them hammering that message. It's Jayapal with the Trans Bill of Rights, Spanberger defending the illegal aliens, keeping DHS shut down. Okay, if this is what you guys are going to run with in November, like there are a lot of people who are very, very pessimistic on the Republican Party chances in November. I'm not one of them anymore, because from where I sit, the Democrats are falling apart. And this is the same feeling I had before the 2024 election, where I was like, Trump is going to win. Like even before, like it was solidified in July when they tried to kill him. Like yeah, seriously, no, we took a vacation because the RNC was in Milwaukee. So I literally took my kids to Hawaii, the farthest part in the United States where I could take them away, just because I thought it was going to be chaos here. And as we were landing in Honolulu, that's when Trump got shot. And I looked at my son, who loves politics so much, and I said, he just won the election. And I never wavered from that. That's the same gut feeling I have now with the midterms. Is it going to be a red wave? No.
No. Oh God.
No. It's going to be nail biter. And I mean, there are we're losing Mullen in the Senate. Probably going to lose Tom Tiffany in the House, because he's running for governor here in Wisconsin. And I'm sorry, nationally, we need him, because the Wisconsin Democrats are insane, and we don't have time to talk about it, but maybe I'll get to it next week. Like they're coming for a bunch of things right now, but the big thing that's going to personally impact me is they're coming for school choice. They just filed a lawsuit last week saying that the state's funding system and how they fund public schools and private schools through the voucher program is unconstitutional. And the Supreme Court has a left-wing bias. And the last person who won, and I'm blanking on her name, and I'm not going to look up. Like, her husband laid out the legal argument for how to undo school choice in Wisconsin. And that's exactly the playbook that they're following right now. So we need a Republican. We need to hold the Republican majority in the Assembly and Senate, because we've held that for 10 years. It's the only thing that has reined in Tony Evers, and even that has not been completely successful, because he's raised the property taxes for 400 years abusing the line item veto. So sorry, we need Tiffany out of the House and here in Madison.
Hey, what about Rubio?
What about Rubio?
Well, actually, he was trying to segue for me, I think.
Oh, okay.
But,
I tried.
I don't know if he saw the video I was loading or not, but here to me is proof that Rubio is actually a time traveler, and we just didn't know. Check this out.
Of this deal have already been said. I do want to be recorded for history's purposes before I know what is going to happen in regards to this if it goes through. Iran will immediately use the money that it's receiving in sanctions relief to begin to build up its conventional capabilities. It will establish the most dominant military power in the region outside of the United States, and it will raise the price of us operating in the region. They're going to build anti-access capabilities, rockets capable of destroying our aircraft carriers and ships. Continue to build these swift boats that are able to come on us, these fast boats that are able to swarm our naval assets. And they'll make it harder and harder for U.S. troops to be in the region. They'll also work with other terrorist groups in the region to target American servicemen and women. And they may or may not deny that they're involved, but they will target us and raise the price of our presence in the Middle East until they hope to completely pull us out of that region. They'll also continue to build long-range missiles, missiles capable of reaching the United States. Those are not affected by this deal, and they'll continue to build them as they've been doing. And then at some point in the near future, when the time is right, they will build a nuclear weapon. And they will do so because at that point they will know that they have become immune, that we will no longer be able to strike their nuclear program because the price of doing so will be too high. This is not just a work of imagination. It exists in the world today. It's called North Korea, where a lunatic possesses dozens of nuclear weapons and a long-range rocket that can already reach the United States. And we cannot do anything about it. An attack on North Korea today would result in an attack on Tokyo, or Seoul, or Guam, or Hawaii, or California. And so the world must now live with a lunatic in possession of nuclear weapons. And this is the goal Iran has as well, to reach a point where they become immune to any sort of credible military threat because the price of a military strike would be too high. And then they become an established nuclear weapons power. And never in the history of the world has such a regime ever possessed weapons so capable of destruction. Iran is led by a supreme leader who is a radical Shia cleric with an apocalyptic vision of the future. He is not a traditional geopolitical actor who makes decisions on the basis of borders or simply history or because of ambitions. He has an religious apocalyptic vision of the future, one that calls for triggering a conflict between the non-Muslim world and the Muslim world, one that he feels especially obligated to trigger. And he's going to possess nuclear weapons. This is the world that we are on the verge of leaving our children to inherit. And perhaps we ourselves will have to share in it. And so I want to be recorded for history's purposes, if nothing else, to say that those of us who opposed this deal understood where it would lead. And we are making a terrible mistake. And I fear that a passage of this deal will make it even harder for us to prevent it. And I hope that there is still time to change our minds. But here's the good news. Iran may have a supreme leader, but America does not. In this nation, we have a republic. And soon we will have new leaders, perhaps in this chamber, but also in the executive branch. And I pray that on their first day in office, they will reverse this deal and reimpose the sanctions and back them up with a credible threat of military force, or history will condemn us for not doing what needed to be done at this critical moment in the world's history. I yield the floor.
See, the dude had prescience, but why
Yes,
didn't
he
all the
did.
rest of those people have prescience? Why was it apparently only him and not a whole horde of other people seeing the obvious? You know, 5-year-olds, I say this frequently, 5-year-olds can see this crap.
Right. I think there were people
Why
that
was
saw
he
it.
the lone voice?
I think he was the lone voice that had the microphone. I remember being against the Iran deal. I'm a nobody. Like, I was doing podcasting in 2015, but he was the only one who had a voice. And I think all the experts were wrong. But the first thing watching that clip is that should be our guy for 2028, just in my opinion, because he's not only really good as Secretary of State and the other 8 million jobs he's got in this administration, he understood this stuff a decade ago. And that's the kind of leadership we need and the kind of leadership I want.
I agree. I'm starting to come around to him. I was thinking JD Vance. Oh, he's going to be the next guy. He's VP.
Right. And that's
I'm
kind
not
of
convinced.
And don't get me wrong, I
like JD Vance.
I do. I love Vance. In 2024 in the primaries, I supported DeSantis. I wanted DeSantis to win. I think DeSantis suffered from what I call the Scott Walker problem because, my governor, who was a fantastic governor, great governor, Scott Walker, was not a good national candidate. And I think DeSantis kind of has that same thing. He doesn't have the panache to run a national campaign. And unfortunately, you need that now. You need that
there has to
personality.
Be a
right. And I think Rubio has developed that in the last decade. And I think, but he has also got the experience, especially the geopolitical foreign policy experience that we need.
Well, especially now. I mean, we joke about his 8 million jobs. Speaking of which, any of you that are good with those couch memes, because I can't make my AI do them, somebody needs to make him dressed as Nostradamus like now. Just saying.
No kidding. Oh my God.
Because anytime I try to get my AI to do it, it's like, I can't do that with a real person.
Which AI do you use, if I may ask?
I've tried. Usually I use GPT because I've gotten it pretty well whipped into shape, and Grok's images are kind of cheesy. I haven't tried with Grok because the last time I tried to get Grok to do anything, it just started spitting out generic crap at me. But yeah, Chat GPT all the time is like, I'm sorry, I am no longer allowed to put real persons in imaginary situations. Blah blah blah. Fucking commies.
I will work on that because I typically use ChatGPT, and if he's not going to do it, then I'll just get frustrated and yell at him. So, I will work on that because those are some of the funniest memes I have ever seen, and they never get old.
Yeah, I mean, there's never a shortage of them. Like somebody put him in a diving bell suit yesterday or the other day and said Rubio finding out he's the new fleet admiral for Iran. It's just there's just no end to them. But I mean, so. I don't want to go too much longer because I have another show in a little bit and I have a bunch of things I need to do in the meantime. But I did want to make sure that we got through everything. I think we've covered most of it fairly well. The only thing I really want to circle back to is I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but there has been a shakeup in one of the primaries. And the interesting thing about this shakeup is the guy who left, did the whole, well, my wife and I have prayed about it and done this and done that. And it turns out that he was leaving because he was hoping that a ethics probe would go away if they found out he wasn't running for office again. And so the ethics probe is continuing. Even though he's leaving. So oops. But yes, this has put a YouTuber into the general election, which has most of the liberal crowd just completely flipping out right now.
Yeah, I Brandon Herrera, I've been seeing this one account that keeps attacking him that he's a Nazi, and I'm like, okay, calling somebody a Nazi has absolutely no meaning anymore because you guys have done it for the past decade with Trump, and then turned a blind eye to the guy who got an actual Nazi tattoo on his chest. But I know a couple YouTubers, Gary at Nerdrotic, who's been like really big into Brandon Herrera, and why not? I mean,
if a reality TV star can make this good of a president, why not let a YouTuber try to be in
seriously? I mean, a YouTuber just made a movie that put the rest of Hollywood to shame.
Right.
I mean, I don't think we talked about it last time, but I saw Markiplier's Iron Lung. I'd seen him play the game that it's based off of. It's sci-fi. You're in a sub on a planet with the ocean's blood, and he took $3 million of his own dollars, and I think as of right now it's like $50 million. So you figure he put $4.5 million into it with marketing, because you kind of take the budget and have it, and that's the marketing. the guy's made 10 times his money back in a movie that's literally him in a tube for 2 hours. And yeah, it was entertaining. Probably could have cut about 20 minutes of it, but the guy can read a line. He can act. For a YouTuber, he can act. So why not in Congress? Like I'm to the point now where it's get rid of all of them and pick the first, several hundred people from the phone book.
Well,
how much worse could it be?
We've seen a SEAL and a wrestler as a Minnesota Cold governor.
Mm-hmm.
So hashtag why not?
Right. And I would argue, and we don't have time to debate this, but I would argue Ventura was a better governor than Tim Walz. But in fairness, that's a very low bar. But
oh God, agreed.
Right. Like, okay, like let's just try. The nice thing about this is we have election, like Rubio said, we elect new people. You don't like it, replace them. Give it 4 years and then 6 years, whatever their term is, replace them. But what have we got to lose by shaking up the status quo? In my view, probably nothing. So that's just me.
All right. So one of the things that is happening, and I feel like I have to bring this up because it's making the rounds now. Apparently, during an interview not so long ago, Mr. Herrera pointed out to some podcasters that he has read an English copy of Mein Kampf.
Oh no! Like the horror, the monster. Okay. I've read a copy of the Communist Manifesto. I've read excerpts from Mein Kampf.
I mean, just to prove a point, all propaganda must be popular, and its intellectual level must be adjusted to the most limited intelligence among those it is addressed to. That is a line directly from Mein Kampf, which I have read.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I bought Kaczynski's manifesto.
Yeah.
And I agree with a good percentile of it.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm not going to get my knickers in a twist about, oh my God, this guy's a Nazi, from the people that have been calling for the extermination of Israel and Jews for the past 3 years.
Right.
Or the people that are promoting Graham Plattner and dismissing his actual Nazi symbolism.
Well, that's the other thing that drives me nuts about what we're watching happen right now. Because just a couple years ago, Free Palestine was everywhere. You just had a retired Marine idiot, and I won't call him still a Marine anymore, because as far as I'm concerned, he disgraced the uniform. I'm not going to give him that credit anymore, which is why I said retired. Get his arm broken for being retarded, not wanting to leave after being disgraceful in his uniform.
Yep.
But these same people that were Free Palestine, so now it's Free Palestine, but fuck Iran? Really?
Right.
Is Iranians just not brown enough for you? Is that what it is? Or is it just there's no Jew hate going on because you see that Iranians and Jews actually don't hate each other?
I think that's definitely part of it. Absolutely. They can't blame Israel. They can't blame the Jews. So they're not going to even give Iranians the time of day. So, and I also think part of it is because many of the Iranian people are welcoming the help from Israel. So, oh my gosh, that's like the unforgivable sin. But no, you need to own and read copies of stuff like that, because it's a cliche, but
you're never going to understand it.
You don't know history.
Right. You're doomed to repeat it. And that's reading a book is not necessarily an endorsement. I mean, but I get it. The left thinks that way. That's why they burned, for example, J.K. Rowling's books, because if you read Harry Potter, you must agree with her views on the trans community. No, first of all, the majority of people agree with J.K. Rowling on the trans issue. She's on your side, leftists, 99.9% of the time on everything else. But there's one issue where you're like, nope, and you can't read the books because it's this guilt by association thing. No, you read those books. You read the things so you understand where the enemy is coming from and you understand how they think, because that way you can't be told, oh, this is what they really mean. But no, I read it and this is what they mean. Like, I don't understand why they think that that's a gotcha, because it's not.
And it shouldn't be, but that just again proves how ignorant they want people to be, because they're if you read that, people are going to think you're a Nazi. No, I really want to. That's why I read it. I wanted to understand what was going through Hitler's mind, and why he did some of the crazy shit that he did, in hopes that we didn't have to do that anymore. But we are coming up to. I'm going to go ahead and call this about the end of our time together.
Yeah.
So we'll start with Amy. Favorite child? What you got?
Okay, so this is one I wrote earlier today. A Girl Scout troop in New Jersey is under some scrutiny, maybe in a little bit of hot water, because they decided to practice capitalism and sell their cookies outside of a cannabis dispensary. They're not the first troop to do this. Seriously. Right. They're not the first troop to do this. They've been in California, Chicago. It's called knowing your customer base and having a captive customer base, because while I don't use weed and I don't particularly like that it's legalized, I'd hate the way it smells. It's legal in New Jersey. It's de facto legal here in Wisconsin. I think these girls are freaking brilliant. The one in no, it was Chicago. Excuse me. Let me make sure I get this right. In Chicago, they sold 300 boxes in like 4 hours, and all that money goes to the troops. Like, where is the downside to this? Well, you can't have the girls buy. Okay, the weed is legal. They're selling cookies outside of Walmart where they sell. Well, they used to. I don't know if they do anymore. Cigarettes, alcohol. Like,
oh yeah. Cigarettes, alcohol, even
weed is legal.
Even in the Bible Belt now, Walmart's allowed to sell wine. There's still no hard booze in Walmart, but they still have beer, wine.
You might get your wish. I think my cat was actually hiding in the closet.
Yeah, I saw him jump down. This is marketing 101.
Right. It's absolutely
marketing
brilliant.
Basics.
Right. It's absolutely brilliant. To hey, these people are going to be hungry. Let me go sell them food. Like. I guarantee you, the mom, and I'm speculating here, but my gut tells me right. The mom who complained about this is mad because her troop or her daughter didn't think of this and capitalize it. But I'm sorry, there's not just one cannabis dispenser in New Jersey. I've never been to New Jersey, don't know, but I can make a logical assumption that there's more than one dispensary. Go set up a table outside of one. Enjoy the fruits of your labor as these people throw money at you. Like,
dude, this is just a Cheech and Chong movie.
It's seriously, it's a no-brainer. Like, I didn't see any. Like, usually you get these curmudgeons, and usually they're on our side. Well, pot's bad, and they shouldn't be doing this, and it's corrupting the girls. Everybody's like, no, this is capitalism. This is awesome. This is brilliant. Why are these girls in trouble? And honest to goodness, that was my favorite story to write this week because it was just fun. And I hope these girls went back there. My nose keeps running because my allergies are kicking my butt. I apologize. And keep doing this because it's freaking brilliant. And good on you, girl. Like, good on you. Like, way to be good capitalists. And I hope you really get like a badge for this because
hell yeah,
that is freaking hysterical.
All right, BZ, how about for you? What's the favorite thing you've talked about this week?
I didn't get a chance to do it, but something is going on with BlackRock. I may address that on Sunday. And this went way, way under the fucking radar. And I don't know why it hasn't emerged yet. But thank you for having me here today.
Mm-hmm.
You are very, very welcome. And Amy, where can folks find you, ma'am?
Hang on, I'm gonna grab him before he knocks everything over. You can find me on Twitter at Ranty Amy Curtis. I believe I put it in my screen down there, and you can find me at townhall.com. And as always, go to Amazon, my book, search Amy Curtis Gaslight, buy a copy of my book, even an e-copy. I got a kid who's going to Rome next spring for Easter. I really need the royalties. So please do that and keep reading my stuff. And I will see you guys again next week. This is so much fun. We need to do it more often.
Yeah, well, my plan has been to do it weekly, but life keeps getting in the way.
Oh yeah, life has been crazy the last couple of weeks, so I get it. Believe me.
Hopefully, we can get more solid with that. And BZ, where can folks find you? And make sure you plug your new Sunday thing you're doing. So,
by the way, what's the cat's name? I forget.
His name is Neville. After the Harry Potter character, not Neville Chamberlain.
Okay, that I wanted to quantify. Anyway, BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct from the SHR Media Studios. I'm on every Tuesday and Thursday night from 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern on the SHR Media Network. And I may be doing the occasional Sunday show called BZ's Sunday Saloon.
Very cool.
Boozy Sunday with BZ. Just kidding.
Yeah, pretty much. Thanks,
All right.
Rick.
Not a problem. And as for me, I'll be back here at about 8:30 Eastern time, hanging out with the lovely Aggie Rican, who's back with us and has been taking some time off. I'll let her spill the beans on that if she decides she wants to do that. But that's going to do it for this one today, folks. And I want to thank everybody for taking the time to hang out with us today. Takes a while for the YouTube numbers to come in now that we're doing portrait, but I see we got close to 300 a day on X. So
wow.
Good.
Awesome. Thanks so much, everybody.
That's pretty awesome considering I've been doing a terrible job of promoting things lately. So thank you very much for that. But we're going to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Thank you so much for everybody hanging out with us. And remember, I know they don't really show it anymore, but I'm pretty sure our terror level would probably be at around an orange right now. So make sure you keep your head on a swivel wherever you're at, because these goat humpers are nuts, man. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ciao.